We will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. We have already talked about Ānāpānassati for many things, right? But today we have to continue talking about 7 purification. In Buddha's teaching, we have the aura of teaching, such as Ānāpānassati. It will mention one after another, four sections of Ānāpānassati. Also, we have Samatha-Vipassanā Sutta. And many people also ask me, after Ānāpānassati, should we go to Asubha or clear comprehension or many other things? Just follow the sequence given in Samatha-Vipassanā Sutta. Most of the time, whenever they ask this kind of question, I just say, is it the sequence of discourse, not the sequence of the practice? We can also say, no, the order of the practice. Then now we have to know the order of practice. These are the 7 purifications. We have to practice these 7 purifications one after another, step by step. 1, morality purification. Sila Visuddhi. This one will be for the 5 precepts, 8 precepts, 9 precepts, or 10 precepts for lay devotees. Then for about bhikkhus, it can be Bhattimokka Samvara Sila, Bhattimokka rules. Then it also can be controlling the sense doors, also using wisely the 4 locustics. Then it also can be many other duties and responsibilities what we have to do. These are called Sila Visuddhi. So before we start meditating, we must purify our morality. This is the first steps. 2, consciousness purification, Citta Visuddhi. So we have to purify our minds with samatha subject, as we have already explained many things about Ānāpānassati. Not only that, in Vipassana, Sangha, or Visuddhimagga, or many other Pali canons, it also mentioned many different types of meditation subjects. By using any of meditation subjects, we can also purify our mind. Okay, here when we talk about consciousness purifications, we also have to understand right concentration. Right concentration and the purifications of consciousness. These 2 are the same. So which means when we are going to purify our minds, we must have right concentration. When we go and read right concentration in Samatha-Vipassanā Sutta or many other suttas, because Samatha-Vipassanā Sutta is more common. Many of people have learned this sutta when they are meditating. That's why I just refer to the suttas more. The Buddha mentioned the 1st jhana, the 2nd jhana, the 3rd jhana, the 4th jhana. These jhanas are called right concentration. So they are also called purifications of consciousness. Then we also have some exception. Sometimes we cannot attain jhana, but we just attain asset concentration. Then asset concentration also can be considered as right consciousness, the purifications of consciousness. So right concentration can be any attainment and the asset concentration. So we can understand these are called Citta Visuddhi, 2nd steps. Then the third steps, view purification, DHAMMA. The purifications of view. We have to purify our views, our ideas, our thoughts. Then we also have to know something about DHAMMA a little bit more in detail. Later I have to explain, because the first two parts, morality purifications, you have already known what is called morality. How about DHAMMA, consciousness purification? We have already explained Ānāpānassati, how we see nimitta, how we attain jhana, how we should continue practice Ānāpānassati. So these are DHAMMA. Now today we have to start from view purifications and all other things, step by steps. Then 4, doubt overcoming purification, kankha vitarana visuddhi. The kankami doubt. We may have many doubts about the past, present, and future. When we have doubt about existences, we have to overcome it. So here, in this case, we have to discern cause and effect relationship. So purifications of view, DHAMMA, is equal to the knowledge of discerning ultimate mentalities and materialities. In Pali, we call Namarupa Paricheda. Doubt overcoming purifications is cause apprehending knowledge, or the knowledge of apprehending the causes. We have to know past causes that produce this life. We also have to know present causes that will produce future lives. These are common. If we can know all these causes, we can overcome doubt about the past, present, and future. Then, actually, these purifications also cover discerning pardon, or discerning many different types of cause and effect relationship, such as divine origination, the first method, the fifth method, or we had any of divine originations, including patana relationship. All these are called doubt overcoming purification. 5, path and non-path knowledge and vision purification. Mekha Jnana Dassana Visuddhi. In this part, we start contemplating Namarupas as anicca, dukkha, anatta. So which means, as soon as we start sitting, we're going to do anicca, dukkha, anatta. After overcoming the doubt, after discerning cause and effect relationship, we can start discerning anicca, dukkha, anatta. So here, this Mekha Jnana Dassana Visuddhi, the purifications of path and non-path knowledge and vision. It covered samasana jnana, the first insight knowledge. Also, it also covers gender, rise and aberration knowledge. That means at the stage we can also see some impurity. We can also encounter the impurity of meditation, especially the impurity of vipassana. So before overcoming the impurity, is called path and non-path knowledge and vision purification. Then 6, practice knowledge vision purification. Patipada Jnana Dassana Visuddhi. We can also translate purifications of practice, knowledge, and vision. So these parts were covered from mature rise and aberration knowledge up to Anuloma Jnana, the knowledge of conformity. After that, 7, knowledge and vision purification. This is path and fruition knowledge. So these are 7 purifications we have to develop. Actually, Visuddhimagga mentioned these 7 purifications. That's on Visuddhimagga. It mentioned all these 7 purifications, step by step. Okay, anyway, There are some questioners. They also ask me, where can we find Visuddhimagga? It's not Buddha's teaching, it's only Visuddhimagga. And the commentary is saying. Sometimes they also have that kind of complaint. Actually, we can find 7 purification in Majjhima Nikaya. Datthavanita Sutta. We can find 7 purifications. Anyway, the main thing is these 7 purifications are the order of practice. We have to practice all these 7 one after another, one by one. Without having 1, we're going to move to 2. Without having 2, we're going to move to 3. Like actually in the Majjhima Nikaya, it gives one simile about 7 chariots. But it will be a little bit far from modern society, right? I should say we have transit, for example. We have 7 transits. Okay, we can go around Asia, right? Okay, 7 transits from Singapore to Malaysia, Malaysia to Indonesia, for example. We have 1 transit from Singapore to Batam, for example. Batam to Jakarta. Okay, Jakarta to Malaysia. If we don't move the first step from Singapore to Batam, we're going to go Batam to Jakarta. This is the first transit. Similarly, we have to take up the first plane, the purifications of morality. Then second plane, we have to go purifications of consciousness, the third plane, like that. It's like a transit. So we just purify our morality in order that we may develop our concentration. We just develop our concentration to purify our view. These are the purpose of practicing. So the first one is the causes, second one is the effort. Second one is the causes, the third one is the effort. We have to go systematically. These are called 7 purification. We also say the order of practice. So mostly in the suttas, Buddha just explains, according to the listeners, it will be only the order of discourses, of the order of teaching. It's not the order of practice. Okay, now we have to move the next steps. Insight knowledges. So they are mentioned 60 Vipassana knowledges. These are 1, mentality, material definitions, knowledge. Namarupa parikahana. So here, this knowledge is the purifications of view. Right? We have already mentioned view purification. So discerning the ultimate reality with 4 definitions, their characteristics, function, manifestation, and proximate cause. Okay, here I just mentioned kusala. Just only one example, right? In the case of kusala, the characteristics of kusala is blameless and happy result. So that means whatever wholesome deed we have done in the past, it will be blameless, it will be happy result, it will give happy result. These are the characteristics of kusala. Its function is the spoiling demerit. All the kusala wholesome deeds have power to spoil demerit. Its manifestation is a purity. So it can purify our mind. It also can purify our vision. It also can make our mind clearer. Then the proximate cause is right attention. So these are just examples. Actually, in every single namas and every single rupas, we have these 4 definitions. So if we can understand all these 4 definitions in every single namas and rupas, we can overcome the competitiveness. So sometimes people also say, be present, just know the present moment. Right? Many people say like that. Actually, we have 4 types of present. Move to the next one. So the first one, Atta Pachupana, lifetime, present, past, and future lives. The life is Atta or duration. It will be useful for in Samasana. So that means when we are going to practice Samasana Jnana, later when we are going to do Anicca Dukkha Anatta, we will understand this one. So Atta Pachupana, our life, this life is also called present from the birth to death. This is present. This is one life. This present life. So this also called Pachupana. 2, Samaya Pachupana, part of a day. For example, morning, afternoon, evening. It will be useful in 7 ways of discerning materialities. It will mention later. So the main thing is, for example, now in the morning, this is present. We can discern Namarupas in this present moment from this morning. After that, afternoon, evening, the same. This is also called Samaya Pachupana. Then 3. Santiti Pachupana. This one is more detail in practicing Vipassana. So we call continuity present. That means the arising of similar materialities and mentalities in the mental process. It is useful when discerning mentalities and materialities as a process. So all the mentalities and materialities are arising as a process, as a city. So this body also made of small particles. In each particle there will be materialities, many other phenomena in one particles. So they also arise in comparison, very rapidly. So when the previous ones perish, then the next one will replace there. Then we can maintain this body. So we have to know many other the mental process or the process of mentalities or materialities. This is called Santiti Pachupana. So this one is also actually useful when we are practicing. Then Kana Pachupana. This is the more in detail. This is the strongest one. That means in every, because I have already said, our body is made of particles, right? This particle also have arising stage, theta stage, and perishing stage. So we must know all these stages, the arising stage, the theta stage, perishing stage of a single particles. Also, we also have to say, well, I also have said, the mentality will arise as a sequence, as a process. City of mind can arise. Many of mind moments can arise in the theory. So in every theory, there's many mind moments. In each mind moment, there's also arising stage, theta stage, and perishing stage. If we can know all these stages, we can understand Kana Pachupana. So when we can know Santiti Pachupana and Kana Pachupana clearer at the time, our perceptions of anicca, impermanence is clearer. When we can understand the characteristics, the function, the manifestation, the prosmic causes of ultimate reality, sure, at the time, we also can break down the function components. When we know the arising and perishing, momentary arising and perishing, we can also know the nature of non-self is out of our control. It will arise and perish naturally. So when we are going to practice Vipassana, we also have to know these 4 types of present, especially in Samasana Jnana. When we are going to contemplate Namarupa as Anicca Dukkha Anatta, we have to understand this one. But now, this is the very beginning of Namarupa discernment, just introduction. Okay, now next one, we have to move. So Samatha Yanika and Vipassana Yanika. What will be the difference between these two? Samatha vehicle 1 can start discerning ultimate mentalities or materialities as foundations of Vipassana. So that means we have more options when we have practiced samatha. We can start with either ultimate mentalities or materialities. But Vipassana Yanika, we don't have samatha jhana. We also say pure insight vehicle, right? So one can start descending ultimate mentalities as a foundation of Vipassana. So materiality as foundation of Vipassana. But it's impossible for him to start with mentality because he does not have a jhana. So not very strong foundation. That's why he has to start with clearer one. From nama to rupa, rupa is clearer. We can see particles. Nama is invisible. We cannot see nama. We can see the rupa. So rupa is a little bit gross, nama is subtle. That's why for pure Vipassana vehicle, they have to start with clearer one, rupa. After that, they can continue descending nama. And these are the foundations of Vipassana. Okay, we have to move next one. So the nature of materiality is a decaying. We can also say like a changing. After descending all types of materialities in 42 body parts, one can descend them all as materiality. We call kalapa samasana, descending overall materiality. Then now, okay, we have some controversy about insight knowledges. Even some of my friends also come and discuss something about meditation. No, they are not really meditator. They also learn from many different books, especially written by many different meditation teachers. Also, something we also discuss about meditation. And they also asked me, what about kalapa samasana, descending overall materialities? You, Tawya meditator, have to do very many things in detail. So if we just do overall, it's okay, right? Then I give very easy simile. Okay, for example, once I will introduce one sutta, right? You may know Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. If we haven't learned Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta in detail, we don't know how to summarize. To summarize Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, we must read whole sutta, entire sutta. Otherwise, we don't know how to summarize. Similarly, if we haven't discerned any of materialities in detail, we cannot summarize, no overall. So kalapa samasana also comes from detail. After discerning in detail, we can also discern overall method. So here we can understand kalapa samasana. So another one is the nature of material is decaying or changing. Okay, for example, now our body, we have already said this is made of rupa kalapas, right? So there we four causes of materialities. Karma produce. When our karma become weaker, sure, it will change. Then mind produce. Sure, when we are happy, our mind also produce rupa kalapas. We are active. Our face also bright. When we get angry, we are not, although we are active, our minds are not good looking. Our face is not good looking. This is mind produces materialities. It changes our body. Similarly, temperature produces materiality. Too hot, too cold, we have problem. Nutriment. If we don't have enough nutriment, our body will change. This is the nature of materialities. So we also have to know the nature of materialities, all types of materiality in the body. Here we have already mentioned 42 body parts. Okay, now the next one. The nature of mentality is inclining to the object. So sometimes people say, I don't incline, but it's just not naturally. Even in interview, that kind of thing happen many times. But according to Abhidhamma, without inclination, we cannot know any object. The nature of mind itself is inclining. Incline to object all the time. Just changing one object, mental processes are very rapid. They arise in vibration very rapidly. We cannot know inclination. In reality, without inclination, we cannot know the object. Okay, now one more thing. If mentality is not very clear for the first time practitioners, he should keep discerning materialities. Okay, not only in this case, there are many other cases. For example, now Ānāpānassati, right? You may see the nimitta. The nimitta is not very strong. Okay, go back to Ānāpānassati. Sometimes jhana is not that much deep. Okay, just focus on the nimitta normally. We can go back previous stage. So similarly now, if our nama mentality is not that clear, we should keep discerning materialities, rupas. When materialities become clearer, then mentality is also clearer. As if cleaning the mirror to see clear reflections, one should cleanse the materiality to see clearer mentality. Right? The beginning of discerning mentality can be one of the three. So context, we call Pali, in Pali, phassa, feeling, vedana, consciousness, citta. So we can start discerning mentalities starting with one of these three. So that means context, phassa. So in every single mind moment, there will be phassa. Then we also have to discern all other materialities in the same mind moment. Then feeling, vedana, also can be in any mind moment. Then consciousness, citta, also can be in any mind moment. We have to discern one of these three for the first time. After that, we have to combine all other mentalities since they arise together. So mentality also arise together. That means they have different functions. For example, okay, and we just give one simile. Consciousness aware know the object. So contact, phassa aware, contacts the object and the mind. Then feeling aware, enjoying good and bad. So all these are working together. Not only that, there are many other, for example, like perceptions, marking or noting, volitions, encouraging. Then there can be many other mental factors. They arise together. They work together to know one object. So if we can know all these things, we can break down the competitiveness of, or we can also down the synthetic competitiveness. Anyway, the main thing is we have to know the nature of mentalities and materialities in this stage. Okay, now the next part. The simile of a blind man and a crippled man. So we can, actually, since I was in the Bali school, I haven't known this simile. Anyway, but not that much useful at the time, right? Now it's very useful. Anyway, a blind man can go, but cannot see. A crippled man can see, but cannot go. Similarly, the materialities is a blind man. They are blind. The mentality is a cripple, like a crippled man. So that means mentality can see that although we close our eyes, our mind can still see, right? So mentality can see. That's why here mentioned mentality is blind, mentality is crippled. So they join together to move their journey. So similarly, in the Namarupa discernment, we also have to understand these two. But in real sense, right? Nama can go faster than Rupa. Okay, anyway. Now 5 brigades method, 12-based method, 18 elements method, according to the practitioners. Actually, it will be very many things in detail about it. So we had different background, we have different perfections, parami. That's why we have different meditation methods taught by the Buddha. The Buddha himself used many different methods. Okay, practically, the first 5 bhikkhus. When you're going to read another Lakkhana Sutta, the Buddha used 5 aggregate methods. You know, they have very strong parami. The Buddha used 5 great methods. Then they attain arhatship. Now we have another one. Venerable Rahula, the only son of the Buddha. In his case, the Buddha gave him the Sarana method, 12 basis method. They mentioned only 6 basis emission. We call Sarana method because eye, ear, nose, tongue, door, body, and mind, right? Or 6 bases. Also, there will be 6 external objects. That's altogether 12. The Buddha used this method for Venerable Rahula. So, okay, briefly, according to the listener's conditions and what they need, the Buddha explains, the Buddha gives different instructions. It can be 5 great methods, 12 basis methods, or 18 elements methods. It can be any of these methods. Okay, now we have to move next one. Cause apprehension knowledge. So we have to know this one again. This knowledge is implications of overcoming doubt. We have already talked about this one. Then also, Nada Parinya, the knowledge of full knowing. So here we have one simile. As if a clever physician ponders upon the causes of sickness after knowing that, after what kind of sickness, and a good practitioners should find the causes of mentalities and materialities. So that means, mostly when you go and see a medical doctor, they will check what's the causes of this kind of sickness. What are the symptoms? What are the causes? After that, they will give treatment. Similarly, Buddha also give instructions to discern the causes. If we can uproot the causes, then sure, we can also uproot the result. We can also overcome the result. So this is called cause apprehension knowledge. Okay, we have to move next one. So here I mentioned ignorance, craving, clinging, volitional formation, and karmic forks are the producing causes, and the nutriment is the supporting causes of materialities. So the base and the object are general causes, and the intention and individual causes are for mentalities. Okay, now here we have to introduce a few more things about cause apprehension knowledge. So this one is very much in detail. Actually, we have to know and see many things in detail, especially about demonic origination. Okay, we have to move next one. In this stage, meditation overcomes 60 types of doubt. 5 kinds of doubt about the past existences, 5 in the future, and 6 in the present. Okay, here I should introduce a little bit more about it. For example, we may have a doubt about our past, whether we have been born in the past or not. As long as we cannot know it clearly. As Buddhists, we believe according to Buddha's teaching. But if we cannot see practically, we can still have doubt about it. So here in the case of past life existences, sure, we must overcome whether we have been born in the past or we have not been born in the past. Then, if we have been born in the past, what kind of race, what kind of living beings are we? Where are we, right? So that means we were a human being, a deva, a Brahma, or animals in the hell. What kind of living beings? Then, what kind of appearance do we have? We may have a doubt about it. After that, before that past life, the first parts, what were the second past lives? We have doubt about past. So here in this case, to overcome the doubt about the past, we have to discern cause of a relationship. For example, this life, the causes of this life, avijja, ignorance, will be in the past. Tanha, craving, in the past. Volitional formation, upadana, clinging, in the past. Volitional formation, sankhara, in the past. Karmic fogs, in the past. These 5 past causes produce this life. We have to discern all the past causes. If we can know it clearly, we will overcome about the past. We can overcome the doubt about the past. Similarly, in the future, in the present, we have we also have similar doubt. But for about this present life, sure, we may have doubt about the atta, atta means self or soul, everlasting entity. So we can also have identity view anytime, in any situation. We are just ordinary people, as long as we cannot see it with our own knowledge, our own experience. So if we can discern all the past, sure, we can also discern, right? Okay, another one. No everlasting entity. Yeah, the simile mentioned. Listening to the teacher, so reciting, the student can recite. The sound of teacher does not go to student's mouth. There's only the power of the past causes give result. Okay, this is example. So all the past causes, they are just the causes. They didn't come to this life. It just caused to become this life. Okay, we have another example. Look at the mirror. One can see the inflection. The body does not go into the mirror. Right? Because of this body, if our body is moving, they will move in the mirror. Okay, we have another example. It doesn't mention here, right? Candle lights. There's one candle light is lit it, another one is just normal, not yet lit it. We will touch with the flame in another candle. There we flame there. It doesn't mean the flame from the first candle go to second candle. Just the cause. The first candle caused the flame in the second candle. Similarly, all the past causes produce this life. That means, but the past life does not come to this life. Some tendency will remain. Some inclination, attitudes will remain. It can come to. It can keep the cause of this life possible. Okay. Anyway, the main thing is we have to overcome doubt about the past, present, and future in this stage. We have to know all the causes by our own knowledge, our own experiences. After that, we can overcome it. This is the first part we have to know. Okay, now the name of this knowledge is many. Actually, there are many, right? Okay, here I mentioned Kankawudana Visuddhi. This we have already mentioned in the purification. The purification is overcoming doubt. Yathabhuta Jnana. Yathabhuta Jnana is also the knowledge that know all the things as they really are. This is called Yathabhuta Jnana. Then also Samadhassana, seeing the truth. Actually, we also have another one, Dhamma-titi. I'm not sure whether in the list or not. Next one. Oh no. Okay. Anyway, actually, there are one more name. I think forget or something like that. Actually, in my list, I have this one. Dhamma-titi Jnana. We have another one. Okay, anyway, there will be many names of overcoming doubt. We consider cause apprehending knowledge. We have to know all the causes, cause of a relationship, different originations, or patana relationship. Okay, now we have to move to the next one. Comprehension knowledge, samasana. This is the very beginning of Vipassana. Vipassana means in the very beginning, we have to discern ultimate mentalities and materialities. Now we have to discern also their causes. Now we have to continue discerning anicca dukkha anatta. So when can we start practicing anicca dukkha anatta? Actually, 3, the third insight knowledge. According to purifications, we have already passed many purifications, right? Purification of morality, also mind, view, overcoming doubt. This is the 5th purification. In the 5th purifications, we start discerning anicca dukkha anatta. So we have to define the four steps before contemplating anicca dukkha anatta. So the meditator can contemplate the ultimate mentalities and materialities as impermanent, anicca, suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta. This is the first part. So impermanence, we have already know momentary rising and perishing. It's very clear. Suffering, sure. If we know passing states, passing away, there's suffering. We have to know momentary death. You know, we just think we will pass away and at the end of this life. Actually, we just know momentary passing away, momentary death. So suffering is out of our control, non-self. All this perception will become very clear. That's why at the stage we can start contemplating anicca dukkha anatta. So here I also mentioned samasana, or the kalapa samasana or naya vipassana. Actually, there are some misunderstanding about naya vipassana. Many people say naya vipassana means, okay, in the past it will be the same. If we do like this, there's a naya vipassana. But in reality, naya vipassana is equal to kalapa samasana. That means we have to discern all the rupas overall. After that, contemplate that as anicca dukkha anatta. So I have already mentioned in the very beginning, we have to discern in detail. After that, overall, then contemplate that as anicca dukkha anatta. This is called kalapa samasana. Okay. Now the next steps. Can you? Okay. So 4 types of samasana here mentioned. So kalapa samasana, discerning only material aggregates in all the mind, in all mind moments in the mental process. Similarly, feeling, perception, formations, and consciousness aggregates are also the same. So that means, okay, we will discern material aggregates in every single mind moment, feeling aggregates in all mind moments, like that. We can discern like that. This is called kalapa samasana. 2, atta samasana, past, present, future material aggregates. So here in this case, we can discern, okay, from this present life, for example, from the birth to death. We can discern all namarupas. Then similarly in the past and the future. So as we mentioned before, only material aggregate in this very life from the birth to death, feeling aggregate one by one, or the 5 aggregates. Then 3, sandati samasana. So here the aggregate when hot or cold. Okay, for example, mental aggregate, so material aggregate. We can easily know our body is responding differently, right? When it's cold, our body will respond different. When it's hot, it will be different. We can know different process. When hot, another process. When cold, another process. We have to know all different types of process that happen in our life. So, for example, materialities when hot. Similarly, feeling, perception, formations, and consciousness. Similarly, when cold, we can do the same. For about the nama, shall we have nama mental process more in detail? We can also follow all the mental process in detail. Then kana samasana, momentary arising and perishing of aggregates. So all the material aggregates will arise and perish. We have 3 states: rising state, strata state, and perishing state. We have to know all these 3 states of every single the moment of rupa material aggregate. Similarly, nama mental aggregate. We have to contemplate that as anicca, dukkha, anatta. It's more detail. So now, next one. Common passage. So we can find this passage in many, many sutras. Yankinji rupam, jitanagata pachupanam, ajatanwa bhidawa, olarikanwa, sukhumanwa, hinanwa panitanwa, yandure sanikewa, sabban rupam, netamama, nesohamasmi, namiso atati, ewa medan yatha buddham, samapanyaya dathabam. We can find this passage in many, many sutras. Even you can find this passage in Natalakhana Sutta, in our daily chant. Mostly we can find this one in Samutta Nikaya. We can also find in other Nikayas. So, okay, here English translation. Whatsoever materialities, past, future, or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, near, far or near, all materialities in this way is to be regarded according to reality and with right wisdoms as this is not mine. I am not this. This is not myself. We have to understand all these things. Okay, one more thing here to elaborate. It's not mind. In Bali, we call netamama. This is not mine, right? This is not my belonging. Namisoha masami. I'm not this. Okay, here in this case, this is not mine. This means tanha, craving, attachment. It refers to attachment. I'm not this. Nisoha masami. It refers to mana, pride. And namiso ada is not myself. It's referred to view, ditthi. So right view is not myself. Sure, this is not this body out of our control. This one is a non-self. So we can find this passage in many, many suttas, which means sometimes people also complain. We just need to know the present. Why we have to discern past nama rupas, already past. But here the word I mentioned, past, present, future. Not only that, internal, external. We discern internally, externally. Sometimes we have attachment to ourselves internally. Sometimes we also have attachment to external objects, external things. Sometimes we are proud of our ability in our body. Sometimes we are proud of outsider. Similarly, sometimes we have wrong view in our body. We also have wrong view. Sometimes it's projected by outsider. So we have to discern all these 11 categories of 5 brigades. Okay, now I have to introduce. Here we have 11 categories: present, past, future, internal, external, gross, subtle, inferior, superior, far and near, altogether 11. So 11 multiplied by 5 aggregates, 55, right? Multiplied by 3 contemplations, altogether 165, right? Right? 165. In the Samasana Jnana, we have to contemplate 165 ways of Namarupas. We can say we have to contemplate 165 ways. These are the number when we are going to talk about 5 basic methods. When we are going to talk about 12 base methods, it will be more. Then when we talk about 18 elements methods, it will be more. Right? So there are many ways to contemplate according to our conditions. Sometimes our inside knowledge is not very strong when we are practicing 5 basic methods. So we should move to 12 base, 80 elements, and so forth. We have many, many options. Okay, now next, we should move next one. According to Salana method. So this one can be found in many, many suttas. Okay, so when seeing there is an iron base, 63 types of materialities. There's a visible object, color of any materialities, unconscious associated with mental fetters. 7 mental factors, eye contact associated with any kind of consciousness, the feeling good or bad. Then at the moment of unconsciousness is neither pleasant or not unpleasant feeling. Okay, the main thing is we can find, okay, when we go in and read in Sutta, we can find like a Chakkunja Patija, Rupeja Patija, Obachati Chakku Vinyana, Tena Sangri Paso, Pasapatya Virana. We have this kind of teaching. Yeah, I didn't write on that one, right? Chakkunja Patija, that means I'm basis. Depending on I'm basis, Rupeja Patija, depending on the visible object, Rupeja Patija. Obachati Chakku Vinyana, unconsciousness arise. Tena Sangli Paso. So the contact pasa will contact these three. Base, the object, and mind. Pasa will contact these three. Tena Sangli Paso. Pasa Patya Vedana. Because of contact, there's a feeling arise. We have this kind of instructions in many Nikayas. Even Venerable Rahula was trained like that. So the main thing is, when we are going to talk about Salayana method, actually it also equal to 12-base method. It covers all the bases. Okay, so now this is a Salayana method. Okay, next one, next move. So general characteristics, then the 10 definitions of the impermanence, 25 definitions of suffering, and then 5 definitions of non-self, altogether 40 tools. So actually, in the case of Samasana Jnana, the first insight knowledge, there are many, many ways of discernment. For example, like we have 10 definitions of impermanent. So later we will explain in Visuddhimagga class, it will be too messy for here, right? Even I think now many listeners have very heavy mind already, because very heavy topic, right? I think so. They're not that easy for beginners. I also understand, right? Okay. Now, 25 definitions of suffering, or 5 definitions of non-self. These are very beginning of insights, right? Okay. Maybe the next move, it will be the last one, maybe. Right? Sharpening controlling faculties. Ānāpānassati, Sankharana, Kayamiwa Basati, seeing the decays of whatever formation. Also a little bit heavy topic, right? Then 2. Tataja Sagajakiriyaya Samadhi, respectfully contemplating when discerning these formations. Then 3. Sattadakiriyaya Samadhi, continuous practice to complete the training. Then 4. Sabhayakiriya Samadhi, proper practice to complete. That means sometimes, okay, we have many other options. If we can do 5 critical methods, okay, do it. If not very clear, okay, move to Sarana method or element method like that. Another one is Samadhisa Tanimita Kahina, taking the sign of concentration. So from time it will be necessary to take the sign of concentrations. Then 6. Bhajan Gananja Ānāpānassati, arising of enlightenment factors in balance. So that means we must balance enlightenment factors. If we can balance, we can improve a little bit easier. Okay, it's a heavy topic, right? Then 7. Kayeja Jiviteja Ānāpānassati Upathabhedi, practicing without any considerations of body and life. So that means when we are really practicing, we don't think about anything in our body. We just want to complete everything, right? So now 8. Tataja Abhibhunya Nekamena, overcoming with powerful efforts when practicing without any considerations of body and life. So that means we can overcome any impediment, any impurity with powerful efforts. Then Andaraja Abhyosanena, not stopping on the way to attainment. Sometimes we will stop on the halfway, right? Without proceeding our practice. So sharpening controlling faculties, avoiding unsuitable conditions, and getting suitable conditions, one should practice ultimate materiality from time to time. So these are suggestions at the stage. Okay, maybe I should stop here, right? Because okay, After that, don't move any other slideshow. That was the last slideshow for today, right? Okay. Don't move anymore. No, move the next one, okay? Okay, this was the last one, right? No more. Because it was very heavy for you. Now, 4, horizon variation knowledge, Udaya Vijnana. This one is also useful for many meditators. The immature knowledge is the purifications of the knowledge and vision that know the right path and known path. So in this stage, there will be 10 impurity, 10 imperfections. For example, obasa, the light. Actually, even we are practicing Ānāpānassati, we can see the light, right? Why don't I mention here again? So at the time of this insight knowledge, when we're descending on the rising vibration state, then the light will become brighter than before. Then we may think that, oh, I have attained path and fruition knowledge. We can misunderstand like that. Otherwise, it's jnana, knowledge. At the time, our insight knowledge became very strong and powerful. Then people can misunderstand, oh, I have attained path and fruition knowledge. Then piti, joy, rapture. At the time, it will be very joyful. Then we also can misunderstand, oh, I have attained path and fruition knowledge. Then passaddhi, tranquility. Although here we just talk about tranquility, actually there will be many other things like malleability, gratitude, and many other flexibility, right? All the very good mental factors will become very obvious, very clear at the time. Then we can misunderstand, I have attained path and fruition knowledge. Then sukha, happiness. We can also say like a bliss. It's very blissful. Then people can misunderstand, I have attained jhana, I have attained nibbana, path and fruition knowledge. Then we are exhaustion. So at the time we are energetic, especially our mind also very energetic. We can understand, oh, we have attained jhana, something like that. Then upatthana, the foundations of mindfulness. So that means mindfulness become very powerful. Upekha, equanimity. Very strong equanimity towards mental formations. Then nikanti, attachment. We also have very strong attachment to that stage. So the main problem is the last one. Don't move. Okay, don't move. Right? Okay, I can just say on this part. Okay, right? Then the main problem is this one is called impurity. Why is it called impurity? We can misunderstand that we have attained path and fruition knowledge. That's why we call impurity. We have one Mahathera in Sri Lanka. I think you may have been to Sri Lanka. Nimalawa, one of the forest monastery. They are one of the arhats, the relics. So we have been there. Anyway, his teacher, his name is Venerable, I forgot his name. Anyway, okay, so whenever Dhammatina, I think his name is, okay, anyway. So his teacher has this impurity. Then the bhikkhu, the student, disciple, had psychic power, also had attained headship. Then he also feel very gratitude for his teacher. That's why he say, oh, my teacher is very, very grateful for me. Then I can have him. He has psychic power. He trying to read his teacher's mind. Then he thought his teacher has a very strong impurity. That's why he thought he's an arhat already. But student know he's not arhat yet. Then he just visited his teacher and asked, teacher, have you attained arhatship? Yes, I have attained. When do you attain? He asked many questions, about very, very complicated questions or very deep questions. Teacher can answer all the things. He is a good learner. That is why, when do you attain all these things? After newly ordained, I have attained all these things. Then, have you attained psychic power? Yes, I have attained. Then student asks, so can you create an elephant. Yes, I can do. Then teacher creates an elephant. Then students say, let the elephant attack you. Then he also creates, when the elephant trying to attack him, he's scared. He creates himself, but he also scared of the elephant he created. Then when we feel scary, this is dosa. Anagami, when we can take Anagami path, then fortunately we can overcome this one. But he realized he's not yet Arhat, even he's not yet Anagami. Then he also asks for help. Okay, now you should be my dependent. Yes, I come for this purpose. The student give instructions. Teacher also practice on the spot. You could take hardship there. So that means this impurity, although very educated people can have this impurity. That is why when you explain all these things, don't think that you have attained something higher. It's just normal. Okay. Also, I think many of people may have only very minor, like a light, small light or something like that. Not very strong, right? But there will be some meditators, they may have very strong light. Sure, for them, it will be very important. Okay, now, this is, if we can overcome all these things, we can say this is mature insight knowledge. This one is called Chinta knowledge, immature knowledge. After overcoming these things, it becomes mature knowledge. Then gradually, we can change up to patvdh knowledge. That's why I will stop here, right? Okay, so it will be very heavy topic for many listeners here today, right? Very heavy, I also understand, right? But I just give introduction because it will be recorded, right? Anyway, may you all be able to practice the Buddha's teaching, and may you all be able to realize the final cessation and not suffering. Okay?
Yeah, dear Sayadaw, in one of the talks, Sayadaw mentioned about the bhavanga in the Ānāpānassati. So, what is the difference between the bhavanga of that and the bhavanga mentioned in the Abhidhamma? Are they the same?
Bhavanga, yeah?
The bhavanga Sayadaw mentioned during Ānāpānassati practice,
okay,
and the bhavanga stated in Abhidhamma, are they the different? The bhavanga citta mentioned in Abhidhamma, are they the same or different with the bhavanga mentioned by Bande during Ānāpānassati talk?
Okay. So that means, okay, falling to bhavanga, this means your bhavanga mind state, same to Abhidhamma. Right? If we talk about bhavanga base, heart base, this is a materialities. If we talk about bhavanga mind movement, this is mentality. So in Ānāpānassati, especially when we talk about asset concentration, right? So we cannot balance controlling faculties, we may fall into bhavanga states. At the time, we can see bhavanga mind movements, as mentioned in Abhidhamma. Okay, next one.
Yes, Sayadaw. Among those 5 things to determine my progress, does achieving nimitta the most important to allow me to move on to the next step? Dhatu, dhatu, dhatu.
Okay. So, among those 5 things to determine my progress, that's achieving nimitta. Not quite clear. What does it mean?
I think the patron means if achieving the nimitta is one of the most important things in order to progress in their meditation, what would be the most important thing? They think is it nimitta? I think that's the question, Sayadaw.
Okay. For the new meditators, one more thing, right? Every single step is important. If it's not unimportant, we will not mention anything, right? So, okay, for many different meditators, there will be different cases. When you are practicing Ānāpānassati is more important. When you are focused on the nimitta is more important, right? So before you see the nimitta, sure, whatever then happened to you, keep focused on the breath. Don't think about many other complicated things. If you're more analyzed, more confused, right? Okay. This one.
Seattle. Yeah, there are 4 parts of the question here. It's regarding long breath, short breath, whole breath, and subtle breath. Is this sequence must be followed as it is? Or if a meditator starts with knowing the short breath, has he practiced wrongly in this way? And also, if he can hardly see the in or out breath, and he cannot see the subtle breath, the stage of subtle breath, so how should he adjust himself? He said he has been practicing Ānāpānassati for 2 years, and recently he has already had bad habits to use more efforts to practice. That's why her nose become tense and hard, her head and eyes also feel pain. So how to adjust himself in order to go back to the right path?
Okay.
And when he has these tensions around the head and nose, shall she stop meditating? For example, 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month in order to adjust?
Okay.
So this is a 1, 2, 3, and then number 4 will be later.
Okay. Okay. Now the first question, right? Should we practice sequence, right?
Yes, Yado.
So that one is for new meditators. We should do from the very beginning. Short breath, long breath. It will arise natural way, as sequence. But for experienced meditator, it will be a little bit different. When you have subtle breath, focus on the subtle breath. When you have cross breath, focus on the cross breath. When you have long breath, focus on the long breath. So focus on the natural breath. But after a long time practicing, your breath can be set at any time. Your breathing can change very easily. Those because of awareness, you can also know many different things. Okay, this is the first part, right? Second part is about the tension, right? All about the body. Then you should stop or something like that. Okay, anyway, I've already reminded when you use too much mental energy or too much bodily energy, you may feel tension. Another one is if you emphasize focus on the sensation too much, you may feel tension. This is also one of the things you have to understand. What about stopping? Okay, mostly I recommend when you have too much tension or too much stiffness or something discomfort in your body, don't think about the touching sensation too much. Just keep knowing the breathing without sensation. You can overcome tension. So when you have too much tranquility, rapture, or joy, you can overcome all the tensions. Before experiencing tranquility, rapture, or joy, sure, it will be a little bit difficult for you. Anyway, now I don't recommend to stop, right? So relax your body and mind. Just trying to focus on the breath without touching sensation. Make your breath natural. Don't control, don't force. It will be easier. Okay, now the last one. Next one. Next question.
The 4th question is during the Ānāpānassati practice, the breath can be tranquilized by the following 4 ways: the Abhoga, Samanahara, Manasikara, and Patvdhsg.
Sure.
So he would like to know clearly about Samana. 其中的4位个对的，对其中的4位和作用。No, Abhoga and Manasikara. How to practice these 2?
Okay, so Abhoga is just adapting the
思维只是让心转向它的对，转向这个所缘，就是把心转向所缘，这个就是思维。作意只是如理作意，其实如理作意有很多种方式可以调整自己去知道气息。
Wise attention, we can say wise attention.
所以作意这边是如理作意。
As long as you know the breathing wisely,
如果您知道很善巧的智慧，很有智慧的知道气息就可以了。
So in your case, it's very practical, you know. When you feel tension,
所以实际操作的话，
unwise, it will get worse.
如果你感觉到头地绷紧的话，要如理作意，不如理作意，这些现象会更明显。
Next one. Okay.
Dear Seattle, Sayadaw suggests that we should practice Metta or Bodhanussati for some time until our mind is very calm. Then we start practicing Ānāpānassati. Could Sayadaw please explain how to practice Metta and Bodhanussati generally? Dhatu, dhatu, dhatu.
Okay. So for about metta, we have many different ways of practicing. According to Metta Sutta, we also have metta meditations. This is the one way. Then mostly in Tawya, we just teach these Bodhisattva Magga methods by Venerable Sariputta. Okay, anyway, metta means we have to love all the living beings equally. So we have to start radiating metta to ourselves. You may have known this Pali passage like Ha'awiro Homi, Apyapacho Homi, and so forth. You must have understood all these Pali passage in English or any languages. So you can use any of 4 formula. Right? For example, like Ha'awiro Homi is one formula. May I be free from danger. Otherwise, Apyapacho Homi, may I be free from mental pain. Anigo Homi, may I be free from bodily pain. Sukadanam Briharami, may I be well and happy. So you can use one of these formulas, visualizing your own image, then radiate metta to yourself. For example, like may I be well and happy, may I be well and happy, something like that. Until you can calm down your mind, this is also okay. So mostly I don't recommend systematic way for calming down mind. That's why mostly I just explain briefly. You can radiate metta to all other living beings around you. May they be free from danger, right? Trying to see many other living beings around you, radiate metta toward them until your mind become very calm and quiet. This is the one way. What about Bodhanussati? Okay, so when we are going to practice Bodhanussati, we have to understand the Buddha's quality. For example, Arahant. I think many of Buddhists have already known the Buddha's quality, Iti Piso Bhagava, Arahant, Sama Sambuddha, and so forth. So Arahant, we have 5 definitions, 5 meanings. Okay, we should choose easier one now. The one who is free from defilements. So you can visualize the Buddha's image or Buddha statues you prefer. After that, you can recollect the Buddha's quality, Arahant, the one who is free from defilements. Arahant, the one who is free from defilements. You're going to understand the meaning deeply in your mind. Actually, if you can feel the Buddha who is free from defilements, you can calm down your mind easier. Because our mind is not very calm because of defilements, right? So you can do any definitions of Buddha's quality, any of Buddha's qualities also, then just do the same recollections many times until your mind becomes very calm and quiet. From time to time, that Buddha's image or Buddha's statue will disappear. It doesn't matter for beginners. Just keep recollecting Buddha's quality. It will be fine. Okay? Next one.
Dear Sayadaw, could you please explain to us how to practice standing and walking meditation? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, in this case, it depends on the practitioner's conditions. For example, those who are practicing 4 elements, we recommend to practice 4 elements when standing or walking or any postures. So for Ānāpāna practitioners, we just recommend to practice Ānāpānassati when standing also. So you can stand straight in one place, close your eyes, focus on the breath. Then you can also keep doing the breathing. So when standing is not very strong concentration as sitting. Similarly, when walking also, before walking, you can stand straight in one place, close your eyes, focus on the breath. When you can know the breath clearly, you can slightly open your eyes and move a little bit forward, slowly. It doesn't mean very slow. It should be slower than normal walking. It will be easier for you to maintain focus on the breathing while you're walking. Okay, next one.
Dear Sayadaw, last time Sayadaw advised me Bodhanussati and chanting to overcome restlessness, but when meditating, I still cannot overcome restlessness, wandering mind, so please help. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So there are many other ways. Sometimes, when we have to do the same things every day, we don't have delight. Our mind does not like this kind of things, right? So you can change Buddha's quality. You can chant like many other stanza or sutras or something like that until your mind become very calm. So restlessness. So if you cannot calm down your mind, sure, there will be restlessness. So if you are sitting alone, meditating alone, you can also chant verbally. Or if necessary, you can also do chanting and walking. It's also possible. So after calming down your mind, come back to the sitting place, keep reciting, then sitting down. Then when you can calm down your mind, focus on the breath, it's also okay. So here, the main point is, whatever situation you have, you must calm down first. There are many ways, right? Mental actions and bhava actions. Bhava actions is stronger. If you cannot calm down by recollecting Buddha's quality, chant bhavali, understanding the meaning, then it will be easier for you to calm down your mind. Okay?
Dear Sayadaw, to master fourth jhana, how to deepen the concentration such that not a single sound will be heard during the absorption? Does one need to observe noble silence at all times? And the second question is, and usually how long should the mastery time be? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, if we can do without single sound, without hearing any single sound, it's much better. And it will be strong, it will be deeper concentrations. So for about observe noble silence at all times. Okay, one more thing. Sometimes we are quiet in our mouth, but very noisy in our mind. What will happen? And sometimes we keep silence, noble silence, with sticker. Sure, our mouth is silent, but mentally noisy. I don't recommend all-time noble silence, right? I instead recommend mental silence. Make your mind silent first. It's more important than noble silence, right? Silence, sometimes also the complete silence is impossible. I don't recommend that kind of practice, right? But also don't wish that kind of things. If necessary, we must talk. Okay, this is one thing. So how long should be mastery time? Okay, actually, it depends on our skill. The longer, the better. So now, for example, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, whole day, sure, it will be the best. So at the time of the Buddha, you may have known some bhikkhus, they were practice for 7 days without meal. They're trying like this. So anyway, the main thing is it depends on our skill and our situations. The longer, the better. At least 3 hours. If you can do longer than that, it will be much better. Okay?
Dear Sayadaw, regarding mastery of jhanas, does one need to have total mastery for every sitting in order to consider that the mastery is successful? If so, what is the period of time needed to be successful in all sittings in order to say one has total mastery in the jhana? Example, 3 days, 1 week, etc. Okay. That's the first question, Sayadaw.
Okay. So the first one about the masteries. So the main thing is the SUT timing. You can enter, emerge very easily, very quickly, without any interval times, without any hesitation or interruptions, when you can review the jhana factors and so forth. Mostly we recommend to do mastery every single sitting in the meditation center. But when you are meditating in your house, it's not that easy, I think, because it will be some disturbance, because you live together with your family, right? So it will be necessary to do mastery in every single sections, every single sitting. Now, how long it should be? Okay, it depends on your conditions. If you can do masteries, for example, now you may do 3 sessions a day. If you can do 3 days successfully, sure, you can do it. Sometimes we can also say until you satisfy. Sometimes, although you can do mastery, you cannot satisfy your skill, your ability, your mind power, your concentrations. So keep doing it until you can satisfy. Okay? We don't limit how many days or how many months or how many weeks. There are many meditators, although they practice many years, they still focus on the nimitta, cannot improve anymore. Right? It depends on their skill and how they can satisfy themselves. Okay? Okay, second question.
The next question is, sometimes some sittings may not be as good due to bodily or environmental conditions, or maybe one travels or do some work. Is it possible the time mastery of jhanas may become not so accurate then?
Okay, for about traveling, this impediment. So if you can do, sure, it's better. For environmental conditions, sure, that this is very complicated in household life. It will be different from monastery life, right? I live in the monastery. Even in the monastery, if we are sitting in group, sometimes environmental conditions are not that much good. Anyway, so if you can do mastery in anywhere, in any situations, it will be the best, sure. Okay, this one.
The next question is, or does mastery means in whatever conditions, one must be able to have accurate mastery of jhanas, no matter how tired or conditions changes in the body? Thank you, Sayadaw. Dhadu, dhadu, dhadu.
Okay, in this case, we cannot say all the conditions as you mentioned here, right? For example, tired. When your body becomes very tired, you cannot enter jhana. Not that easy to enter jhana. This is the one thing. So, okay, when we have impediment, we cannot do very well. If we don't have enough nutrients, we cannot do very well. So we have 7 suitable conditions, right? 10 impediments. When you have one of these 17, it's not easy to do masteries. This is a common to every meditators. Don't worry about it. Okay? This one?
Dear Sayadaw, Sayadaw, when she has contracted this COVID-19 virus, then he felt that the body condition is very serious and many side effects. And they feel the COVID virus attack their organs, and it is different with the normal flu or normal sickness. So he felt many people die of that, and he felt a lot of fear. And this when this fear arises, he felt that how should he let his mind be free from this fear, and how to let his mind more fulfilling.
Okay, sure. This is also very problematic, right? I also have the same problem. 3 months ago maybe, right? I also have COVID-19, Omicron. Anyway, we know this is a really very serious sickness, but it depends on how we accept it, right? So when that kind of thing happen, mostly you must really meditate toward yourself more. Because we have different conditions, right? I'm a bhikkhu, I'm also a meditation teacher. I know how to meditate, right? So for you are just normal meditators. It will be a little bit different. So at that time, you just really meditate toward yourself most of the time. Visualize your own smiling face. You may have been happy in many times in your life. As long as the happiness is connected to wholesome, is okay. Just recall all these happiness. Visualize your own happy face. Then ready to meditate toward yourself. May I be free from danger, or maybe free from mental pain, maybe free from bodily pain, maybe when happy, something like that. You can do whatever formula you like. You can use whatever formula you like. Also, you can keep radiating metta to yourself. Another one is, there are many people like you. They also have to suffer like that. When I have caught COVID-19, at the time, when I was in the quarantine center, I had around 64 people, something like that. I was just radiating metta to all people there. Right? Just do like this. It will be easier. You can also do the same things to all other living beings. Another one is the compassion. At the time, we all are suffering. In my case, although I also feel a little bit headache, but not that serious. I can still meditate, it doesn't matter. But okay, the main thing is, we all have suffering, so at the time we can also radiate compassion to all living beings. First, we can start with ourselves, right? May I be free from suffering. Then trying to radiate metta to all living beings around you. So in this way, you can calm down your minds. If you can do mudita, much better. Right? So that means sometimes we have to get lost our happiness, current happiness. So okay, in the sense of mudita, you may have known this Pali passage. Yatha lada sampati doma vikachantu. May he not separate from his prosperity or wealth or happiness. So that means, okay, in brief, may he remain with his happiness. I mean, that means we can also say, may he not get lost current happiness. We can also say another way, may he not be getting worse more than current situations. We can say like that, right? Anyway, we can also do mudita. So when I have that second nature, I'm doing metta, karuna, mudita, one of these three. No ubeka at the time. I don't do ubeka. Mostly I just do metta, karuna, mudita. Three of them, one after another. So in this way, then you can also help other living beings. Sometimes it also affects other people. All these practices also can affect other people, you know. So it also can affect yourself. I mean, good results. Also affected for their happiness. So trying to do one of these three sublime abidance, we don't have that sickness. Then you can also release. You can also help other people. Okay. Next one.
As a layperson, they have their study, works, and housework to do. He can only use the free time to practice. In this condition, is there a hope for them to practice the power method of Samatha-Vipassanā until all the jnana achieved? Or at least practice until Vechat parikaha jnana? Is it possible?
Okay, so when you have very heavy impediments, it's almost impossible. But when you have very less impediment, it's possible to practice. Right? For example, like in the case of nimitta. Also, 1/2 an hour is not enough, right? If you can do masteries, 1/2 an hour is not enough. So you must have some time meditation retreat, special time to practice. Sometimes like a private retreat, right? You just do your own retreats. This is also okay. So whenever you have free time, make habit of meditating alone. Okay? Next one.
About these 4 types of aboga. Sorry, there are 4 types of manasikara, the sandati, and also the sandati and atta samasana, atta samasana, and sandati samasana.
Okay.
Can Sayadaw explain more about that?
Okay. So when we talk about atta, this
当
means
我们讲到实
Namarupas
思维的
in
时
one
候，
life, from the
支持
reviving
一个
consciousness to
时
death
端，一
consciousness,
个
right?
生命的
Last moment
从
of our life.
生到死
We have to
的
discern
这个
all types of Namarupas.
明法设
One
法，
life is called Ānāpānassati.
需要
For
观
about
辨
entity,
识
this
一
is the
生
mental
的。
process.
如果说
For
相续
example,
思维
mental
呢，
mental process, when we see
是指
something,
心路。比如说，当我
we have
们
to
看到
see
心路，我们需要看到
the Namarupas in the mental process.
在心路里面
This is
每
called
个刹那的
Samatha-Vipassanā.
灵色，这是
Now you are
相续
listening, you may
哎
hear the
sorry
sound. At the time, ear mental process, ear mental process will arise. So you have to discern Namarupas in all the mental process when you are hearing. So these are called Samatha-Vipassanā. Okay, next one.
Dear Seattle, when we have many wandering thoughts, we can use counting method to overcome the thoughts. If this method is not effective for me, is there any other methods I can try to overcome many wandering thoughts and to overcome those thoughts that happen concurrently when focusing on the breath? Dhatu, dhatu, dhatu.
Okay, so if you can overcome wandering thoughts by merely counting, you can also do whole breath body. I mean, you must know the breathing from the very beginning to the end on the touching point. So you have to discern more in detail. And when you have more mindfulness, you can overcome the thoughts. As long as you are not analyzing breathing too much, you can overcome it easily. Okay. Next one.
简单地讲说 ，from first jhana until fourth jhana, this is called samadhi. So what is the difference between samadhi and miccha samadhi? What are the differences?
Okay, good question, right? Actually, Micca Samadhi means if we know one object all the time, this is called Micca Samadhi. Okay, I should say some practical way. A few years ago, or not, a few months ago, the one of the Vietnamese young people asked me about Micca Samadhi. The same question. What's Micca Samadhi? Then at the time, I replying very simply because I have many Vietnamese disciples. Many of Vietnamese people disrobe. Many of my disciples disrobe. That's why I just ask and just give him very easy example. Okay, if you wish to know what's Micca Samadhi, ask your Dhamma friend who disrobe. They may have the thoughts of disrobing many days, many months, right? After thinking about one thing very long time, it happened. This is the power of Micca Samadhi. Right? Okay. Next one.
Dear Seattle, I like to give instruction to myself what to do during the meditation. Is this considered as wandering thought also? How can I overcome such habit? Dhatu, dhatu, dhatu.
Okay, as long as it does not interrupt many times in the meditation, it doesn't matter. Well, sometimes we have to remind ourselves to keep doing the breathing. In this kind of case, it's okay. Then,
Dear Seattle, by 3 hours, do you mean 3 hours sitting at one time, or can it be 1 hour, 3 minutes? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you.
It means 3 hours in one sitting. Okay. Now share merits, right? Etawatacha amehi sambadam punya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sampatti siddhiyam idame nyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idame nyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idame nyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idame punyam Asavakaya Vaham Hodu Idame Bunyam Nibbanasang Pateyo Hodu Mama Bunya Bhagam Sabbasadanam Bhajemi Te Sabhe Me Samam Punya Bhagam Labandu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu